Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Al-Shai, Bashem, Rakakwada, Shalom to the 144,000 and rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video One More Step Closer to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1, which is going to take place on this side and continue in the kingdom. And I may just read Isaiah 4 in case you didn't know. I may just bring it up. But anyway, this is a video I started watching put up by GMS. I'm a one. I bought 144. Shalom to that elder. And I got up to right about here. And that's, hey, the first thing that popped in my head was Isaiah chapter 4. And I did a video last night on the same subject. Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1. Anyway, so the video is, and subscribe and be edified. A harsh reality check is setting in. So now he opens with the copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. That's why we say fair use, fair use. When we say fair use, that we're saying that this is we're dealing with this act right here. Fair use for purposes such as criticism. So let's say Trump says these black Hebrew Israelites, or these Hebrew Israelites, they do this and they great little girls, but we have a right to take that statement and critique that statement that he made. If I'm just saying that hasn't happened, but it could, so it says such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching scholarship. Right, you might be teaching a lesson and you might go to a news clip. And research. Fair use is a use prohibited, permitted, I'm sorry, not prohibited, permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit educational or personal use tips for the balance of favor of fair use. So he opens with that, and I'll say most of the time I'll say fair use, fair use.
Limelight, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Berkakadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, to the 144,000. Double honor and respect to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Coming back at you with another lesson. A reality check is setting in. So I want to play this video before I do. Copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism.
Yeah, because what YouTube do it take down certain things on the copyright, but you can make this a court matter. You said somebody made a video, mention my name or whatever, and I can respond. So this is you got a lot of these videos of women that's pretty much saying, look, I'm for sale,
It's being ushered in. Let's play this video.
This is going back to the old paths, the old ways, the law. The Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai's law is based upon nature, It's based upon common sense. Old path. So when we come, when the kingdom is established, we're going to go back to the old ways, the old path. We're going to follow. The law will be in full effect. Okay, here we go. Jeremiah 6, verse 16 does say, "If Yahweh, stand ye in the ways, and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way?" And that's the kingdom. When the kingdom is established, it's going to be the good way, not the bad way, and walk therein, which ultimately is the law, statutes, and commandments. "And ye shall find rest for your souls, but they said, we will not walk therein." And that's what you got. A lot of Jakes. You got the elder out of the Carolinas, the elder Manasseh Zakbar. He goes to TikTok and he puts up a lot of videos of Jake, ranking on an Israel, the whole Israelite thing. So we're telling them that the Israelites, which is our job, and they're saying we will not walk therein. Okay, you made your video. You don't got to watch us no more. If you made your statement, we're not black Hebrew Israelites, and these guys, they shouldn't be on the court. Well, you know what? Don't watch the videos. Don't engage with us, because they'll do that. They'll talk about how bad it is, and then they'll engage with us like these Christians. The Christians are a non-person to us. The term persona non grata. You don't even exist to us. So that's what I wanted. So let me come back to the video. Let me X this out. We don't went through all the breakdowns. We kind of go back, we review the different breakdowns. I would love to go back into Revelation 18 and Revelation as a whole. Anyway, good looking woman. And this is not a clickbait or anything like that. She's speaking from the heart. She's willing to work to have somebody. Hey, if I got a pretty woman in my house, living in my house, you already know what's going to happen. All right? That's part of the pay. Pay to play. That's what Hosea did. Back in the ancient world, and even today, you got women that are pros that you can get with for one night, or she can stay with you for a month or 2 weeks, and she'll cook. She'll play that housewife, and you just take care of her, and then she moves on, but she's not supposed to move on because that's your woman. Like you got these women that they'll get ballers, right? Boxers, these top ranked boxers that they'll do a fight and they'll make, $25 million, $50 million. In the case of Floyd, he made hundreds of millions of dollars. You got these ballers, Jake in the NBA, the draft, NBA draft. These women are there. They say, "Oh, this dude, college chicks," because that's a meal ticket right there. You get with a baller, you get with an actor. That's a meal ticket. You stay with them, maybe have a child or two, and shit don't work out because you never liked the guy anyway. You liked his money, and then you look at Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp. Now we got to find out what the outcome is. But he's talking about, she said, "I get with you, but I don't want to get choked again," and set this country bumpkin up. He's a country bumpkin, okay? So anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get into it. Now, this is a short video, so I may play most of it. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Like I said, we in analyzing mode. We're analyzing things. You know, we give you precept right there, precept there.
If anyone has a farm or a business and they need free labor for housing, and you are a safe person, you're credible, maybe you have children of your own, and you have a clean, safe environment, I will work for you for free.
Wait a minute. Hey, Isaiah 28:68. They shall sell themselves. She's actually said, and it does mean that they shall sell themselves, or they shall be sold. In the case of Deuteronomy 28:68, that's a fulfillment of the transatlantic slave trade. It's not talking about 70 AD, because when you read about it, it said that they were taken into slavery. They didn't go on ships. They went through that route. It's a trade route that they went through. A route from Jerusalem. You can walk right down into Egypt. Why would you get on a boat? Why would you get on a boat to go someplace where you can walk down there, you can drive down there? So that Deuteronomy 28:68 has nothing to do with 70 AD. Because I ran into the Josephus, and it said any male Jew or Israelite 17 and above, what they went into captivity, and they walked down into Egypt. That's when Esau was ruling Egypt. Remember, the so-called black Egyptians were pushed out of the land of Egypt, which is Mizraim. And I'm going to get into this guy, Ron Dolton. He was a guest on Sarnetta. And Sarnetta, you know how Sarnetta is. He'll say we're Hebrew Israelites and these guys know what they're talking about. Then he'll get a guest. You Israelites are running. You'll see. I might do it in this video, you know, since we're in analyzing mode. Anyway, so when somebody tells you, oh, Deuteronomy 28:68 is not talking about the transatlantic slavery. Well, when you go to Deuteronomy 28, the 28th chapter, Deuteronomy 28th chapter, the curses are not talking about one captivity. It's talking about many captivity. It speaks of nations. Matter of fact, let me go to that real quick. Because vocab would say, well, that's talking about 78. No, it's not talking about 70. It's talking. Part of it is 70 AD, but it's talking about the curses that we're under now to this very day. We're still under these curses. To this day. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 28. So when somebody says the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:15 on down took place in this chapter, no, it took the curses followed us from nation to nation, and I'm gonna prove that. Like for example, when you go to Deuteronomy 28:50, really you can start from 23, but 50 when it mentions the word seas secretly in the seas, that's talking about the Romans during 70 AD. When I say 70 AD, I'm talking about from about 68, 69, was it 67, 68, 69, 67, 68, because that all started with the siege of Jerusalem started with like 3 years, almost 4 years before that. It started with Nero, right? There's a thing called the Nerian, which is Nero's Dame persecution. And when you read about that, it's talking about how Nero persecuted the Christians, which were Israelites that believed in the Messiah. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, let me go to the word nations. Nations. Okay, 12. I don't want this. I want the part with the curses. 37, right? Let's start at 36. Yahweh shall, you know that this is Yahweh because it's all caps. Yahweh, Yah, he, Howah, meaning to be. He present. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. So this question was asked, the elder Mike, Pastor Mike, he rolled up on IUIC Detroit. This was after the church blitz. They were blitzing churches, so you had certain Christians that blitzed them. And he asked them a question, and it stumped them. They couldn't have an answer. I don't know if they got the answer today. He said, I got a question. He said, who's the king? He said, who's the king in Deuteronomy 28:36? And they were looking all big boy. He was looking all in the scriptures. They were trying to taking out cell phones. There was a bunch of them out there, man. And they said that the IUIC school in Detroit was closed, and they had a sign up there. It's closed because of the sea ragamuffin. So Mike showed it, and they said, well, it's funny how they closed on this day when yesterday or 2 days ago they were open when I said I was coming down there, or something to the effect. This took place in, was it 2021, 2022? It must have been 2021. But they couldn't answer the question. I know the answer to the question. So it says here, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither Yahweh shall lead thee. Meaning, and thou shalt become an astonishment, because you're going to be under them curses, a proverb, they're going to talk mess about you. We're going to pull out them words, and a byword among all nations whither Yahweh shall lead thee. So the Most High is going to, this is not the fulfillment of going to Assyria. And that's what it's talking about. Close the book. No. Talking about Babylon, Assyria, America. All those nations that you were, the Greeks, the Romans, and America. This is our last captivity. When it says the yoke of iron upon thy neck, you can't get around that. What does that say? Oh, well, that's talking about the Assyrians. Yes, I believe, the Assyrians, which are Babylonians too, and they did put them in the yokes of iron. But so did America. And it says what? It says, and byword among all nations whither Yahweh shall lead thee. So in the Syrian captivity under the Babylonians, under the Assyrians, some of us had yokes upon our necks, so we wouldn't escape. That also applies to the transatlantic slavery in America, where certain slaves had yokes around their necks. Like I said, I'm going to say it again, in case you didn't hear it. Deuteronomy 28:15 on down is not talking about being fulfilled by one nation, by many nations. It said, whither the Lord shall lead thee among all nations. All the nations that we were captive under. So let's pull out some words, and I'm going to get back into the main subject. And thou shalt become an astonishment. Let me look up the word proverb. Look up the word proverb. Astonishment, proverb. Let me look up the word proverb. The word is mashal. Proverb, parable, sayings, aphorism, byword, similitude, parable, poem, sentence of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims. Similitude, parable. Now let's go. Let me do this. Let me go to the Google. Okay, parable, proverb. I'm sorry, not parable. Okay, proverb, a short, pithy saying in general use, stating a general truth or piece of advice. So now let's come back over here. You know, they'll say something like, "Oh, black people, they can run fast. You know, they can play basketball, they can play football, you know, they can box, you know, they can do this." And they compare so-called black people, you know what I'm talking about, to maybe white people. Who was this guy? Jimmy the Greek. So this is a proverb right here, Jimmy the Greek. And he made a factual statement Why did Jimmy the Greek get fired? This was in the 80s, right? Jimmy the Greek is fired by CBS. An embarrassed CBS fired a certain Jimmy Snyder. He might have been a so-called the Greek Saturday after the sports commentator said in a much criticized television interview that I gotta open this up. And he didn't say anything racial. He stated a fact. And this is what the proverb is all about. They made a big thing about this. I remember. And I said what he said wasn't racist. What he said was factual. Give me a second. Embarrassed Jimmy the Greek, a Saturday after the sports commentator said in a much criticized television interview that, listen, that blacks were bred to be better athletes than whites. Ooh-wee. That's not racism, that's a fact. That's a fact. If you got a big, strong man, either a white man, black man, whatever, with muscles, and you got this small, a girl half the size of this guy, and they say, which one do you think is strong? And I say, the guy right there. And they say, well, that's sexist. It ain't sexist, it's factual, man. And they fired this guy. Over making a factual statement. Let me read it again. A commentator, sports commentator. If he's a commentator, he knows sports. He knows he checks stats. You know, he like you can get a quarterback. What is this? Tom Brady, right? He's not what he used to be 10 years ago. But he's that's it. Well, he's a Jake any damn. He just looked like an Edomite. So they'll say, well, he's not as dominant as he used to be. That's a factual statement, right? Floyd Mayweather is not in his 46. I can't believe he's he's 48, almost 50, hitting 50. He's not what he used to be when 10 years ago. It's a factual statement. So let's read that again. A sports commentator said in a much criticized television interview that blacks, which are Israelites, were bred. Because what do? These guys, they play on the highest level of football, NFL, AFC, NBA. A lot of these, like LeBron James, when he was coming up, high schooler, whatever, junior high, high schooler, they already had eyes on him to be one of the greatest. And you know what? They have basketball camps where these young kids that they think are going to be great athletes, they meet the Michael Jordans and the Dr. J's because they're bred. When you're real tall in high school, I know this for a fact, in junior high school, got a kid, he's in the 6th grade, he's 6'2". What do you do? Do you train him to be a jockey? No. You push him not to play football, you push him to play basketball in the hopes that you can say, well, I coached him, the high school coach, I coached him or whatever. It says bred, trained up to be better athletes than whites. When whites, in most cases, you got white athletes that have the same build as Jake, and they bred both of them, who's going to be the stronger one? And that's just a known fact. I don't got to read anymore. Let me read some more. Snyder, which is Jimmy the Greek, who outraged civil rights leaders, boneheaded ninjas. He made a factual fucking statement with this and other remarks about blacks in sports. How did Jake come up out the hood? Because they're scientists? No. You ain't never heard of a Jake coming out of the hood because of his scientific findings. You get bigged up, enrich yourself through sports, man. That's why a father, his father was a boxer, right? He probably became a pro. He might have had a record. He might have had 20 fights. He might have lost 5 of them and won 15 of them. So he knows boxing. He knows the gym. He got a son. Son is athletic. He puts all his spirit into his son, and his son becomes the champ because you got a father that really loves you, and he's a real trainer because that's your father, right? It says, so it said these boneheaded civil rights, because I don't trust them niggas anyway, leaders. It's a Snyder who outraged civil rights leaders with this and other remarks about blacks in sports. What is that? Retaliated a heartfelt apology. He apologized. Oh, I'm sorry. I came out the wrong way. Now you got to apologize for telling the truth. And like a woman, if a woman puts on a dress, do I look fat with this dress? And you say, yeah, you ain't getting none that night. So you got to learn how to lie to a woman. He made after the interview was televised Friday, but raised the possibility he may sue CBS for dropping him. And then, you know what? He would lose. But he didn't say nothing wrong. But boneheaded black leaders, guys like Al Sharpton, all right? So there you go. Anyway, so that's a proverb. Black, and that's a saying. Well, he's a black guy. That's a black guy, man. I remember, please forgive me. I remember we were running track, this in junior high. We had a track meet, and there was this Jake that I ran with. And this guy was like 6. He was tall as hell. And he was fast, right? So we was in the 100-yard dash, and he was way taller than me. It was me on one end, him on the other, and 2 white boys in the middle. Man, I already knew. I said, we're going to dust these white boys. And we dusted them 2 white boys. And he won by like 1 leg. which means I'm faster than him. But because he was taller, his stride was better. We damn near was a photo finish. I remember that shit. But I remember saying, but I'm looking at the white boys. I was like, man, come on, nigga, please. Because we knew that back in junior high school, that athletically we are better. Okay? The elder shall serve the younger. The one shall be stronger than the other, right? Two man of people. Which Ron Dolton, we'll watch that. We'll go into that. He's talking about, he said the white man came out of Japhet, but he kind of changed it, I believe. He said Japhet mixed with Edom, because I guess he's doing the research. Ron Dolton is lost. But we're going to get into that. I'm sorry, I'm a little all over the place. But that's how I dream. So anyway, so let's come on back. So that's a perfect example of proverb. Jimmy the Greek making his statement. And Jimmy the Greek is probably a Jake any damn way. I believe he's Greek. He could be a small hat. Hal Cosell, he was watching a game, and I don't know who was running. A wide receiver caught the ball, and Hal Cosell said, "Look at that monkey go!" And they fired him for that. And he made a statement. He said, "I said that about my little grandchildren. They're white." I said, "Look at them monkeys go." So whether that was true or not, I don't know. That kind of sounds racist. Look at that monkey go. Say proverb, a byword. Let's look up the word byword. Shana ya na. Shana ya na. That's like a sister's name. Right, feminine. How do we know it's feminine? It's from the Greek word shanan, which in the feminine form will be shan. It should be shana, shanana, which is sharp words, sharp cutting words, taunt, gib, taunt, byword. They make jokes about us. 3 guys going to a bar. A Chinese guy, a white guy, and a black guy. And who gets the brunt of the joke? The black guy. So that's a byword. Byword. Give me a second. Proverb and a byword. Let's look up the word astonishment. The word is shama, which means waste, horror, appallment, a waste of land, city, appallment, horror. Desolation. Like they go into the hoods and they say, look at how these black people, they should pull themselves up from their bootstraps. So this is all about a proverb, a byword, an astonishment among the nations. And that's part of the curses, that they see us in our conditions. We remember we used to speak in Harlem, and you would have a tour bus with white people taking pictures of Jake in Harlem. See, this is how niggas live, you know? So like it's like a zoo, like you going to an animal reserve. Watch these niggas, don't give them bananas. They go wild with them bananas. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's come on back. And these women are humbling down. They finding out that men are the prize. They're not the prize. Men are the prize. Israelite men. We should be more. We shall be. What is it? The fine goal of old fear. Men shall be the prize. That's Isaiah 13. So let's listen. Like I said, if I'm letting a woman in my house and she's working and she looks good, she's not just gonna be cleaning, right? You know, Betty Wright, she's gonna be like Betty Wright. Y'all don't know Betty Wright, the cleanup woman. The cleanup woman is a woman too. Which that's the story of Hosea, you know, with the woman that the Most High told him to get
in exchange for housing. For 3 months, I've been trying to run a GoFundMe on my page for an RV so I can be on my own. And
right, you got people getting vans, you know, the van life, that's also on YouTube. The RV life, where it's a house on wheels. This place is going down, bro. You know, it speaks about the daughter of music, the doors being shut, Ecclesiastes chapter 12. That's what we're living in. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Matter of fact, let me go to that real quick because I'm going to go to that in the NLT. Ecclesiastes. And you can thank Trump because he's really setting us up for a fall. They keep talking. Every other video, there's going to be empty shelves, and people going to lose it. And he's nothing but a front guy. That's all he is. That's all he is. He's no different than Ronald McDonald. He's a mascot, so the ideologue. Let me see. I want to go right to the point, but you can read the whole chapter. Okay, I'm starting from the 3rd verse. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. The word a housekeeper is the word manage the house, which you get the word the term what is it? Economy. The word keeper of a house. The keepers of the house. The word means economy. Economy. The word economy means manage the house or keeper of the house. If you go to the etymon, matter of fact, I'm going to go to that. Etymon. Etymon. Give me a second. Okay, I didn't want that. I didn't want that, obviously. I got to spell it out. Etymology. Etymology. Etymon online. Economy. Let's look it up. Managing. It should say house. Managing. Okay. Go from the Greek economy, household management. Household government always talks about the economy, which means household manager. What is the house? The whole country, right? Economia, household Greek, household management. Ika means manage. Nomia is house. So we got that. That's why it's important to go into these root words. Okay, so let's come back over here. It says, in that day, the keepers of the house, the keepers of the house are the government, the members of the government, from the president on down, from local government, state government, federal government, right? They put this guy in to manage the house, and he's destroying the house. He's destroying the house with these tariffs. The only way you apply tariffs is if in a booming economy. You know? Look up them words. Look up embargo. Look up tariff. Other words, blocking stuff from coming from a nation. You put a high enough tariff on a nation, it blocks their product from coming in here because people are not going to buy it. I believe in Japan, there's no American cars in Japan. There's all Japanese cars. There's more Japanese cars in America than American cars. So it's Trump's idea to have factories come back, which is not going to work. It is not going to work. Because Chinese work in a factory making smartphones, they'll bring home $200 a week. If they're good, they got a higher position management, they might bring $400 a week. Do you really believe that Americans are going to work for $200 a week? Are you out your fucking mind? And plus, you got to build the infrastructure, these factories, which that's not going to happen. The fairy godmother's not going to wave a wand and all of a sudden factories are already set to go. And then you got to get trained laborers. And you can't train a person overnight. So this is a disaster. This administration is a slow motion 1,000-car wreck. And these people know, but the ones that are part of his cabinet, they got to kiss his ass. And they're going to go down with him. All hell is going to break loose in this country, man. It says, the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man, the military men, shall bow themselves. What does it say in the Apocrypha about a man of war coming into poverty? Let me do it this way. I'm going to cheat. So we're going into a lot of words, right? A man of war that comes into poverty. Apocrypha. Okay, I got it. A man of war. This is Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 28. You know what? Let me see. Apocrypha is specifically the book of Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus, mentions a man of war, a soldier, suffering poverty as a cause of concern. And that's what they do. They come into poverty. This goes hand in hand with this. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the government leaders are going to tremble because the people want them, want they necks. And the strong man, the military man, the guy that fought in the military with a blue, a purple heart, shall bow themselves, meaning you got a lot of homelessness among veterans. And if you notice, Trump haven't mentioned nothing about them. They're still, he ain't mentioned, he said we got to get these veterans off the street. You run into most of these homeless people, a lot of them are military guys, man, that came into poverty. What does Proverbs 29 and 2 say? When the righteous in authority, the people rejoice, and when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. who's ruling this? Who's the ruler of this country? A wicked man. Well, he has good intentions. Well, that's not good enough. There's people starving. There's people dying in the street. You have people that go around the city that pick up dead bodies, man. There was a guy that I knew, Puerto Rican ingenuity. He was homeless. This is for y'all out there. This is for Apostle Ryan Lob. You remember the guy, Puerto Rican ingenuity. That guy was homeless because I was go through a certain block and I would see him. Then he had built like a makeshift like house around a tree. And that was like that for about a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, I saw everything gone. So I said, the Spirit said he died. He died in that house. And so he was a Ephraim, but he had Simeonites around him. And they went to say, hey, what's up? You want some beer? And he didn't move. And he died. And they called the authorities and they picked up his body. Then they tore that shit up. So the man was kind of living hard, man. He was probably in the military too. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. Few what? Few jobs. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, meaning there's no bright light. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. Now, when the Ragamuffin came, that destroyed, that not utterly destroyed, but killed a lot of businesses. That was a direct hit to the middle class, the business. What is a glue that keeps a country strong is the middle class. When the sound of the grinding or working is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, get up early to see if you can get a job. This is what the Mexicans do. They'll get on corners, and you have an Edomite with a pickup truck. He'll grab 3 of them. Give me you. So they got to get up early so the white boy can pick them up. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. This shit that we hear now is not music, it's garbage. It's complete garbage. It says, and when they shall be afraid of that which is high, the most high, and fair shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. I'm going to explain that. And desire shall fall, because men go to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. The mourners go about the streets. It's talking about they homeless. They ain't got no job to go to. They ain't got no money. So let me come back over here. And she's a pretty woman. She's a pretty woman. I don't know how much makeup. I don't know if that's a wig or whatever. But she's a good-looking woman. And she's, the Most High is humbling these women, man. Jake found out that Edomite women, other nation women, they fantasize about getting with Jake. So she's saying, I'm willing to work. Meaning slavery. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Let's listen to it again.
Work for you for free.
That's slavery. When you work for somebody for free, that's slave. You work and you don't get wages for it. So she's gonna sell herself, and no man shall buy her. No, somebody gonna buy her. And you work in that house, he wants something, he rubs on you. You better know what he's talking about. And who knows? Maybe you can stay there, and your status gets lifted up. Hey, they showed you that in the movie 12 Years a Slave, when they ran Oliver, what's his name? Solomon Northup with the other slave girl. They went to another plantation under the orders of the master of the other plantation, and there was a black woman there. And what happened was, she was a slave that the slave master fell in love with, and I guess his wife, the white wife, died. So he married that woman. So guess what? Her status changed. Even though she was a Jake, her status went from being a maiden to the wife. And I guess he died, so she became the You had a lot of Israelite that became masters of plantations too. Yeah, Jake had other Jakes in captivity. Reuben did that.
in exchange for housing.
And when she said exchange, I thought the word sex, and this part of that deal is going to have to be sex, and she's going to have to comply. You know, maybe she'll make the man happy, and he'll like, you know what, you can stay another 3 months. You know, you can stay a year. You know, all of a sudden you might get her pregnant, and then you know what, you're gonna be my wife, whether you go to you know, get paperwork, you know.
For 3 months, I've been trying to run a GoFundMe on my page for an RV so I can be on my own and go back to school.
You go back to school. Go back to school for what? Go back to school for what?
But it's not working out. Please.
You need a man. You need a man with, you know, I'm having fun with this. And this has happened. So this thing that Nate said about, Isaiah 4:1 is going to take place in the, no, it's not going to take place in the kingdom. It's going to take place in here on this side, and it's going to continue into the kingdom.
Please message me if you're serious.
Help me create a safe home for my children.
Help me create a safe home for my children.
Let's see what I can. This is her page.
Help me create a safe home for my
What
children.
America has done is it's really confused.
You can see that these women are humbling down, man. They're humbling down.
And deceive a lot of our women. The so-called American dream and this independent woman and
yeah, that's out the one. That's out that feminism, that independent woman. I don't need no man. You know, no. You need a man, and you're gonna learn how to share.
I don't need a man, and I'm going to go out and get my college degrees and my education, and I'm going to rise above.
A girl I had a college degree, a couple of fucking degrees, and she had to live with me. She had to live under my fucking roof. And I know she hated it, because when I got mad, I said, look, bitch, you can pack your shit and you know what you can do. She used to hate that. She used to hate that shit, you know? But then she moved on. But then many, many years later, she came to the camp trying to get back. I'm like, I ain't interested in you. I don't know where you've been.
The average man, which is about 80% of the male population being average. And I'm just going to shoot for the stars for a man within the top 10%. So it's all a visage. What we used to say in the military, it briefs well, it sounds good. But when you go to apply, these things are being promised.
And if you notice, she's coming feminine. She's coming in this feminine spirit. She ain't coming in that I don't need no man spirit, that feminist spirit.
An American dream or a nice soft landing for our children, building a nest egg. When you begin to look at the realities of life, that's
and what does the scripture say about the old path? I read that. What does the scripture say about that in Jeremiah? Seek ye the old path. Let's go back to that. And we're going to read that in the NOT. Old paths. Jeremiah 6 verse 16. I want to go read that in, go ahead and read that in the NLT. This is, I'm sorry, NLT. NLT. This is what Yahweh says. Stop at the crossroads and look around. As for the old godly way, which is the Lord's, and walk in it, travel its path, and you will find rest for your souls And ultimately, it's talking about the truth, the truth, which is this is an ancient truth. This is a great gathering. This is the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37 and many other scriptures, man. This is in the gathering. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. But you reply, no, that's not the road we want. Ooh. That line hits harder than steel. You got all these Jakes that the young elder, I call him a young elder, Manataz Akbar, he got all those TikTok videos of all these different Jakes saying, I'm tired of them black Hebrew Israelites. I'm black, Lord ain't dealing with them. And the white man can. Guess what? This is them. Your souls, but you reply, no, that's not the road we want. So guess what? The road you want is ultimately fire. So let's come on back.
Set in. Inflation, cost of living. The dollar is...
Which is all by design. Which is all by design. The sea ragamuffin, all by design. Now they're coming out with it.
Collapsing right now. People are offloading the dollar.
All you other camps out there was IUIC and ICPK. Y'all said go ahead and take it. Guess what? We said no, don't take it. If you want to take it, you got free will to do what the hell you want to do. But I wouldn't take it. I'll tell it to you that way. And I've had personal people that in the spiritual realm because they did the thing.
Japan threatening to offload about $1.13 trillion worth of U.S. Treasury bonds. China is...
That's going to kill the dollar. That's going to kill the dollar.
Even threatening to offload another $7 trillion somewhere in there. So this thing is going to get worse before it gets better.
It's going to get worse before it gets worse. It's going to get worse before it gets worse.
And this train is getting ready to come to a screeching halt. What train? Following this system under America. What you'll notice is the old way is starting to seep in. Men and women resort back to their natural instincts.
Which men have more women. That's the old way. That's the old paths. And you had women that were your wives, and you had handmaids that was under you or under your wife. You had women. Look, Abraham got Sarah a handmaid because he was a guy. He was the man with all the riches. Sarah was under him. So he said, "Here, I'm gonna give you a handmaid." The same thing with Laban. Did not Laban gift his two daughters, Rachel and Leah, with handmaids? And what did they do? What them handmaids do? They did what they were told to do, including have sex with their husband. Look, I don't feel like having sex with my husband. You go lay with him. They showed you that in the movie, The Handmaid's Tale, the original one in the 90s. And when they were dealing with these women, these younger women that were fertile, what's this guy's name? Great actor. I believe he's a Jake with the bald head. I can't think of his name. He retired. Damn, I can't think of his name. He played in. He was that crazy military guy in Apocalypse Now. Damn, I can't think of his name. But anyway, he was in the movie. And they cut his throat because those women rebelled, right? But anyway, when he was popping them women, he would go into the scriptures. He'd open up the scriptures and he'd read about the handmaids, and then he'd close the book and he'd pop the woman, you know?
When all hell breaks loose, the political apparatus is going to collapse. The security apparatus is going to collapse. Police officers and military servicemen at your beckoning call when you need help. Your help is going to be that man that you come underneath his umbrella of protection and trust to. That's going to be your help. So things are going to go back to the old way. Remember, the more we try to fight against what the Lord said in his prophetic word, the more we try to resist his will.
That's why the Most High is only dealing with the elect. You got Bishop Nate. Oh, we got to go to Africa, and they said no. There's many precepts pointing to the fact that you, and I'm going to go into that again. I got, like I said, I put it in the form of a list because I always go into that subject from time to time. Spirit said, why don't you just put a list together? I got about 30 precepts that all point to the fact that this gospel that we have is the focus is here in America, not Papua New Guinea, not these other places. That's why when Nairobi, Kenya, that's why they threw stones on you. Even this guy talked about it, Ron Dolton, right? As a matter of fact, let me change gears. Let me go to Saw Netta. Unless he took it down. Saw Netta TV. Okay, let's see if it's okay. Yep, boom, it's up. You got to watch this whole video, and this is after Ron Dolton came on the show with the guy. The YouTube page was Something Nice, and he says that this guy set it up. The guy, what's it, Dandy or Denny, whatever the hell his name is. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. So I'm going to go into this video. This is almost 4-hour video. And basically, well, it says Ron Dolton go head to head with Bishop Nathanyel. Why are Hebrews scared to debate Ron Dolton? Dolton, right? So you know this guy, this dude right here. He's a great instigator. I call him that. I told him that in his face. I said, "You like Don King? You're the great instigator." Because he doesn't believe in anything. He believes in the almighty dollar. That's what he believes in. Is it gonna make money? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Let me see. Okay, let me go to this one. Let me go to Something Nice. Something Nice. Something Nice. Okay, that's not what I want. I thought it was Something Nice. That didn't give me what I wanted. You know what? Let's just do this. Okay, this is fair use. I want to go to, you can watch the whole thing or as much as you can watch. I want to go to, I'm going to go all the way in to right about here. So let's listen.
Brother, you had an opportunity to go one-on-one with Bishop Nathanyel.
Now, I believe right here at this minute mark, he's going to say that he got with the guy. He's going to mention the guy's name. I thought the YouTube page was out of South Africa. And he's going to mention the guy's name. And he's going to say that behind Bishop Nate's back, because Bishop Nate was on this guy's show as a regular, he set it up where this guy's going to come in. And when he came in, you couldn't hear his voice. They had a technical difficulty. It was muted, or something to the effect. And Nate kind of said, let's move on to the next one. Nate didn't want to have to deal with him. This guy is not the big bad wolf. This is why he said in this video, he said that the sons of Japhet are white people. But then in this video, he said the sons of Japhet are, the sons of Japhet and the sons of Edom mingle themselves together. And so he's covering his ass. He knows he's an Israelite, but he's he said this. And I heard Nate say it. Nate said everybody in Africa are all Israelites except for, what was the tribe? What was the freaking tribe? It was supposed to be the people of Sudan, right? He said the Cushites, all them other people are Israelites. So he's saying 99% or 95% of people in Africa are all Israelites. Well, wait a minute, you got 4 sons that came out of him. So this guy's waxing worse and worse. So let's listen. I'm a little long-winded, but I'm covering a lot of things.
To us, how did that discussion go? Talk to us, man. About
Okay,
you
so
and you sit down.
so something nice with Nathanyel. He's a South African.
Something nice with Nathanyel. Now I don't know. That's the name. That's the name of his page. Something nice, and I believe it's either something. Well, the host is Nano. So I knew it was a setup. I knew this guy Nano set this thing up. I'm gonna have Bishop Nate come on, then you gonna come in. He didn't tell Nate that. He kind of ambushed him. But watch what he's gonna say. He's gonna make a statement. He said that the IUIC used him as a catalyst or as a jump off to deal with that thing with Kyrie Irving. So they played on it. They trying to take the credit because it was centered around this individual right here, Hebrews Negroes, which is H2N2 Hebrews to Negroes TV.com. So he says, he's going to say, you're going to hear it. He says that they, went after Kyrie Irving. They said Kyrie got to apologize. Kyrie Irving said, I never made the movie. Why should I apologize? Somehow Nate got in there. He saw an opportunity and jumped on it. Ultimately, Kyrie Irving gave a donation. I think it was $60,000 to some Muslim organization dissing. That was the spit in the face to the IUIC, right? But he said that IUIC is the IUIC organization are nothing but opportunists. That's all they are. That's what he's going to say, and we agree.
YouTuber. He had Bishop Nathanyel on the same year that I had shown the movie Hebrews to Negroes in Soweto Theater in South Africa. So during the time, like in May and June, July, I was promoting, showing the movie at Soweto Theater in South Africa. Dr. Umar Johnson showed up in South Africa. And then IUIC showed up in South Africa. And I said,
wait a minute. He said that year when that came out and he did the interview, IUIC showed up. This has to be 2022, 2023.
I said, this is around the time that I'm going into the radio stations. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and YouTube promoting that the event is going down at the theater. And this is the first time that Africa is going to see the movie Hebrews to Negroes premiering in
fair use.
In Johannesburg. And so Bishop Nathanyel and IUIC went.
And most, if not all, South Africans are Jake. You can check out, go to South African dancers. Them are straight up Jake. You got Ham mingled among them, but South Africa. When you go into the history of South Africa, they originally from the people of Bantu, which is north of Africa, the continent, and they migrated down into South Africa. The Bantu people are Israelites for the most part.
Went on Something Nice with Nathanyel's channel, and Nathanyel asked him. He said, "Is Jesus a Jew?" And then he said, "Yes." And then he says, "All Africans Jews?" And Bishop Nathanyel said, "Yes, from the continent of Africa, yes."
And I heard him say that. As a matter of fact, it's on one of my videos. So on one of my videos I did about a week ago, where he actually says it. So he's saying that he's going to Africa. Because he said the Jake is all in Africa. There ain't no Africans there. It's all Jake, except for one group of people.
And then he said,
So I don't know where the Cushites went. I don't know where Mizraim went. I don't know where Put went.
then he said, I want everybody listening. I want everybody listening to what I'm going to say right now. Israel is Northeast Africa. Because prior to that, when Denana asked him,
and it's not, that's an argument right there. You have what's called, what do you call it? You have 12 tectonic plates. The continent of Africa sits on a different plate than where Israel is. It's close to Africa, but it's not Africa. I mean, you can say it's a land of Canaan, but that continent. So that's an argument in itself.
is an African person.
Nate got an obsession with Africa. That's why he keeps going to Africa in certain places, you know? He doesn't know the spirit. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is not dealing with Bishop Nate at all. He's doing his own thing. He's going by what his belly tells him to do. Romans, what is that? Romans 16, 17, and 18.
A Jewish person. And Bishop said, yes, from the continent of Africa. So right then, he's basically saying that if you are from the African continent, you are a Jew. Then,
which is wrong. We have brothers, one particular brother in Men of Valor. He's, I believe he's either Ghanaian. He has another brother. They both diligent brothers. And he had told me face to face. He said, "Yeah." He said, "You got Jake all up in there," and he said, "You got Ham mixed with him." And he said, "When you look at a certain person, you can see Ham. You can see that spirit of Ham. You know, you can look at a person and see, well, that's a Jake. Look at another person, well, that's a Hamite. Two different spirits, just like Jacob and Esau, right?"
And like a year later, or like the next year, he said on Denano's channel, all Africans are Jews except the Nilotes. So then Denano asked them, who are
the Nilotes? Let's look up the Nilotes, which I believe they're the people of Sudan. The Nilotes of Africa. The Nilotes of Africa. The Nilotic people are indigenous group in East Central Africa, primarily inhabiting the Upper Nile region and its tributaries. They are known for their distinct language, cultural practices, and physical characteristics, and are the second most numerous group in the African Great Lake region. So you know what I got to do? Let me go to images. And I believe these are people of the Sudan. Them are Hamites. Look at this. Look at these dusty. Yeah, them Hamites, man. Them are Hamites. He don't got hair. He got peas. Yeah, yep. These are Hamites. These are Hamites. Look at how they stand. They'll be out there all day jumping up and down. No rhythm. Let me see. And I want to go to the map. These are the Egyptians, the original Egyptians. Manute Bo would be like a Nilot, right? History of the Nilotes or Nilot people of South Sudan. The people of South Sudan, north of Sudan, North Sudan, South, it used to be Sudan. Esau came in there and split it. North of Sudan is Egypt. Let me do this. Let me go to map. Let me go to the map. Okay, let me close this. Bear me for a minute. So when you get into this truth, you got to go in the maps too. Okay, so here we are. This is Africa, right? This is okay. This is Egypt. The original Egypts look like the picture I just showed you. Real black, real tall and skinny. 7'2". Manute Bo would be an original Egyptian. His mother's was like 7 something. His father was like 7, almost 8 foot. So that's Egypt. When Esau came in and then the Arabs came in, they pushed them out to Sudan. The people, the super dark, black, tall people of Sudan, because now you got a North Sudan and a South Sudan. I believe Esau controls North Sudan. So they got pushed out down into here. These are not, they don't belong here. They belong right up in here. Just come on back. And I knew the Nilots were so-called Egyptians, Mizraim. Look at them. These are the Egyptians. These are the Egyptians. And they motherfucking blackly black. So what Nate is saying, and I heard him say it, he said everybody in Africa, for the most part, are Israelites. This is the whole continent of Africa. All over here, these are all Israelites. These are like, you got what's the name of the damn? It's an island. What's the name of the damn island? I can't remember the name. It's an island, but there's Jakes on it. And they mostly live like in Boston and Providence. Somebody help me out, y'all. This guy, the boxer, he's I can't think of their fucking names. Right on the tip of my tongue. Somebody help me out, y'all. Some of y'all out there are those people. But they're Israelites, man. They look like Simeon. They look like Ephraim. The women are fine as hell. Cape Verde. Now look at these people right here. Look at how they stand. No flavor. They just stand straight. Look at that. They just stand straight up. There's no Jake in them. This guy's be out here for 2 hours, 3 hours, jumping up and down in a straight line. No rhythm. Look at this. Can you imagine this guy being in your camp? These are Hamites. So when Nate says, "Oh, everybody in Africa are Israelite except for these people," the word Nilots, meaning that come from the word people of the Nile, right? Let me come back over here to maps again. I'm gonna show you something. The Nile, you can't see the Nile. Give me a second. Okay, the Nile is right here. So they're called Nilots because they live off of the coast of the Nile, which they belong up here. So now let me come back over here and let me go to Cape Verde. People of the Cape Verde Islands. Them are Israelites. You gonna tell me she's a Hamite? Look at the flag. Look at that. The flag. These are Israelites, man. Beautiful people. That's Jake all the way. Cape Verde. What's the brother's name? I can't think of the brother's name. Look at that. She ain't no Hamite, bro. Let it come on up. That's a Cape Verdean, a beautiful, a gorgeous Cape Verdean. Are you going to say no to her? You working in the job, she keeps looking at you, bumping into you. Okay, this is, I guess this is this, okay, what's this chick's name? I guess she's supposed to be Cape Verdean. Somebody help me out, y'all. Hold up. This is, I believe this is, what you call this, Minnie Riperton's daughter. She's a comedian. I look like her. Look at them. They look like Simeonites. They're beautiful people. They're not Hamites. Look, they look like the Latin tribes. Them are pretty people, man. And they're Israelites. That's why I say if there's 9 billion people on the earth, 4 billion of them got to be Israelites. Sand of the sea, stars of heaven that cannot be numbered or counted or measured. This is a dusty Hamite. Maybe. Because you got dusty looking Israelites too. Look at that. Look at that. That's a good. You gonna say a woman on the job? She keep looking at you. She keeps saying hi. Now that's a Hamite. What do you think about this, Captain Tazariak? What's your take on this? Anyway, so the Nilots are named because they live off the coast of the Nile, which the Nilots are actually people of Sudan, which are the original people of Mizraim, which are the Egyptians. So Nate is saying the only ones that are Hamites are the Nilots, which is bullshit. Because what happened to Cush, which are the Ethiopians? What happened to Pawat, which is North Africa, Libya? And what happened to, what's the other one? Canaan. Now Canaan was where our land was. Where the Canaanites? They all disappeared? They still got to be here. The scripture said, where is that? If I get the saying in my head, I can find it. Damn. Let me do this. There's no end to all the people. Bible. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 16. There is no limit to all people. I want to go to go right here. Listen up, watch, learn, take notes. King James. There is no end of all people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of people. There is no end of all the people. There's no end of all the people. So if he's saying only everybody in Africa, the continent of Africa, are Israelites except the Nilots, which is the people of Sudan, where did the Cushites go? What happened to the Cushites? What happened to the people of Pawat? And what happened to the Canaanites? Did they just disappear? Well, it says there's no end to all the people. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 16. So now let's come back into this video. I know I'm going. I said I wasn't going to go long. Where the hell? What the hell happened? What the hell happened? Okay, here we go.
Or the Nilots. Bishop didn't know, so he started to, try to make something up on the fly, using scriptures and everything. He didn't.
And well, he picked up on that. He was trying to make shit up on the fly. We call him, he wings it a lot, man. Not, hey, to be honest, Nate knows a lot of scriptures. He's a smart guy, He was one of them scripture guys, and but he done lost it, brother. He's clearly going off, man, and he's proud.
Didn't answer the question. So then I said, oh, okay. So now he's teaching that these Israelites are here in northern Nigeria, like the Hausa, the Levite cities, and we got this place over
here. Well,
West
Africa, you got Israel, a lot of Israelites in Africa. We don't know exactly because remember we were mingled. So you look at one guy could be an Israelite, another guy could be a Hamite. But for the most part, the slave trade took place on the west coast of Africa, namely Nigeria and surrounding areas.
Here, he's going through the map of Africa, talking about the Jews of Africa. And then, so I said, okay, Donato, when the next time you have him on, are y'all gonna do a Q&A? And he said, yes, we're gonna do a Q&A. And I said, well, let me know, because I'm gonna come on when you do the Q&A. He says, okay, and I'm gonna ask him some questions. And I said,
And by the way, Nano didn't tell Nate, Ronnie Dolton's gonna come in. He didn't tell him that. He ambushed him.
To ask if he will allow the people that ask questions to come onto the stage.
Now, this is the same video. You got to come way around about here. He goes into the fact that the white man came from Japhet and they were mixed with Edom. So he didn't say that. He used to say, oh, the white man is Japhet. It had nothing to do with Edom. Is a whole different. He's saying now Edom mixed with Japhet. Because he wants to push this thing in that Japhet are the descendants of Japhet are so-called white people. That's old school Hebrew Israelism from the 70s. Like I said, my parents told me that, the white man are the sons of Japhet.
Onto the live with him. He said, okay, Ron, I'll do that. And then when he did the live, he said, we got people in the audience who want to ask a question. We're going to bring them onto the live.
So this was, what's this guy, Donnie, whatever his name is, Nandi. I forget his name that quick. So this was an ambush. And this is what you get for going on these different shows. I don't got to go on these. And if I go on the show, I'm going to come straight raw. I'm going to come straight raw with it, man. That you cut the show short. I'm coming straight raw with it, man. We
got Ron Dolton is in the background. He wants to come into the live to ask you a question. Are you okay with that, Bishop Nathanyel? Because he already knew that I told Donano that Bishop Nathanyel is running. He's running from debating like a lot of other Israelite leaders. And so,
well, we don't run. We just don't debate. We don't sit down and have this. It's pointless to debate. Now, if he happened to come on, we out in the street, and he happened to come and walk by, and we go into it, then it will turn into a debate. But if he can't get it, I'm not here to debate you and have discussions. There's nothing to discuss. You just know that you're an Israelite, and that's it. You got to come up under us. If you go into a topic of prophecies, you're going to lose, my man. I would ask you, what relation are you to the Most High? Do you consider yourself a prophet, a historian, a documentary film editor, pastor? What do you consider yourself? Please don't tell me that you're a prophet. Please don't tell me that. Because you're going to be in trouble.
He said, because the question is that why, when I asked you about the Kyrie incident, that you don't mention Ron Dolton? Like the last time you talked about the Kyrie incident and what was going on.
The Kyrie Irving incident, if you don't know, it was centered around Kyrie going on Amazon, and he rented the movie Hebrews and Negroes. And I think he went on one of his platforms and he said, it's a good movie. Just like you said about anything. You watch You know, this movie Sinners, which I haven't watched because I don't go into movie theaters because I don't want to be in a big black box with demons in it. So I'll wait until it comes on, what is it, Amazon Video or whatever, Prime Video, because I got Prime.
On and what was happening in South Africa. He said, what was that all about? And he said it was about Kyrie posting a link to a video about the Hebrews. And he didn't say, well, an Israelite brother that we know named Ron Dolton made a movie called Hebrews to Negroes, like Black America. And this is the movie that Kyrie had showed. He said it was a video about the Israelites. And so Nathanyel said to Bishop Nathanyel on one of his interviews, he said, what is your relationship with Ron Dolton? And he said, well, we know Ron Dolton. We support Ron Dolton. During the Kyrie incident, we supported him. But we all know that during the Kyrie incident in 2022, that they were supporting Kyrie. They went to the Barclays Center to support Kyrie. They didn't call me.
That's right.
Say,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they didn't call me in 2022.
Because Nate is an opportunist. You know? He didn't mention, if you notice, I don't remember him mentioning Ron Dolton. The whole thing was centered around Ron Dolton. And he's going to say something. He's going to say something. He's going to say, he's speaking truth right about now, but he's just somebody that stumbled into the fact that he's not a prophet. He's not a prophet.
And say, Ron, are you here in America? Yes, I am. Would you like to come with us at New York City, Brooklyn, in front of the Barclays Center and stand with us for Kyrie? They didn't call me, email me, text me, this at all, because they wanted to do it themselves. It was not about Ron Dolton, the one that made the movie that Kyrie shared. It was about supporting Kyrie and getting the limelight that they wanted at the time.
We've been saying that for the longest. He likes a hot white spotlight. He likes the limelight. And then when they go to different countries, now you got IUIC members that are in these different countries. All they got to do is keep speaking. Why did you got to hop on a plane to go to Nairobi or whatever and do these? Why you got to be the face of everything? Because you like the spotlight, bro. You're famished.
Stand in front. Look, if I would have stood in front of the Barclays Center and said, I'm the one that made the movie, Ron Dolton, and they were like, oh, the reporters, do you think the reporters would have been like, that's the guy that made the movie? They might have said, well, let's go the other way.
Yeah, they would have all came to you, all of them.
Yeah, they would either came to me or they would have said, nope, let's go the other way, because Kyrie told them.
Hey, hold on 1 minute, brother, because I got to get this, brother. Elder Yara, I don't have your number. Please call me, brother. Call me. It's important. I don't have your number. You changed up on me. Go ahead, Brother Ron. Sorry about that.
So at that time, Kyrie said, you're asking me to apologize for something I didn't make. And then they said, well, I think Adam Silver wants to hear you say the words, I apologize. Are you going to apologize because the posts are still on your channel? And Kyrie said again, he said, I'm not going to keep repeating myself and saying the same thing. And he said, you asked me to apologize, and I'm not the one that made the documentary. He said this more than once. And they're like this in his face. He's like, I'm not the one who made the documentary. It's a documentary that I didn't make. You're asking me to apologize for something that I did not do. None of the reporters said, well, we reached out to the guy that made the documentary. His name was Ron Dolton, and he declined to have an interview. He declined it. No, they didn't do that for me. So the whole time in 2022, when all these Israelites, they say, we support Ron Dolton. In October, November, December of 2022, none of the Israelites, not one Israelite camp leader, organization, congregation, called me, emailed me, and said, Ron, I want you on my show. I'm not going to go ahead and put the title Hebrews to Negroes in the YouTube channel video. It's not right unless I have you on there.
Except for me. I called you, brother. I called you.
Well, you probably did call me first. But the thing is, during that time in 2022, the reason why you didn't see me on any of the camp's channels or any other Israelite channels or any mainstream news channel or the Breakfast Club, Joe Budden TV, Vlad TV, Drake Champs, Joe Rogan, you know, what's that guy named Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Mark Lamont Hill, what's that guy's name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed. Everybody named Mama was talking about Hebrews to Negroes. No emails, especially from the Israelites. And I said, wow, I said, the whole 2022, while all this is going on, not one person contacted me to talk about it.
You think it was jealousy?
I think they don't want. I think a lot of the Israelites, they don't want to see somebody else shine.
Well, I mean, if people watch you, they watch you. If not, they don't. What big deal? No big deal. First of all, you're not a prophet. You're not sent by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. But you don't know the true name of Yahweh and Yahushai. Does he follow the New Testament? I know he was a Pentecostal. I think his father was a preacher.
And them, because they didn't do the movie. They didn't do the movie, and a lot of them, they're not going to say. And prior to the Kyrie incident, all these camps were on their channels saying Ron Dolton came out with another movie. Check it out, Hebrews to Negroes 3, Hebrews to Negroes.
Why would I say check out his movie when you bring confusion? You don't have the whole truth.
2, this and that. Go watch it. Go watch it today on Amazon. Go to H2 TV. None of the camps do that. They talk about Babylon Timbuktu.
Well, I remember my brother Daniel Allah is the one that called me and said, yo, you need to get Ron Dalton on your show. And I said, who is Ron Dalton? And he said, oh, you got to look at the movie, the one who did this and did that. And I went and looked and I said, oh, yeah.
Dalton went off on a lot of things in the movie. He thinks that the Africans are all Israelites, just like Nate, including the Nilettes.
We got to get him. And so I made the contact through Daniel Allah, if you remember.
Yeah, see Daniel Allah and Zaab, they're different brews. They support one another. They don't care about, you know, if you believe in the white man's Esau and you believe in, they still support at the end of the day. That's how it should be. But a lot of these camps.
I'm not going to support you if you're saying the white man's Japhet. You don't have the truth. That's what I'm not going to support you for.
Leaders in organizations and in churches and assemblies, they got thousands of followers. They're not going to sit there and say, get this guy's book, watch this guy's movie. Because then when they see the movie and the book, they might have a lot of questions in regards to what they just saw and read, and it may conflict with what they teach. And they may lose some of their followers or members for them coming to my channel and learning and being taught by me. So just like the Christian church, no pastor is going to recommend another pastor and you need to go to their church. They're teaching some good stuff. Why don't you go to their church? No, the pastor is going to teach what he wants to teach because you're a member of his church, because being a member of his church means you're going to keep making him money. But as soon as they start looking the other way and seeing another teacher and his teachings are really, they're gravitating to me and they're pulling me in, you're going to lose members and you don't want this. So the pastors have to keep that thing like on a horse, to keep them on the straight. So you can't look to the left, look to the right. You stay focused on what we're teaching. And as adults, I'm going to tell you what is recommended, what's not, and what you can watch, what you cannot watch. And this brother Ron Dalton, he's not with us, so therefore he does not have the truth. Don't pay him no mind.
He doesn't have the truth. You don't have the truth. You have some truth. You don't have the truth.
Don't bother with what he's talking about. Follow us only. And this is the signs of a cult, because a cult will tell their followers, why are you reading that book? Why are you watching that video? Why are you looking at that documentary? That's not recommended. Who told you can do that? That's wrong. You gotta give me the book, give me the video, throw it away. You cannot do that. They don't want thinking adults to look other places and decide for themselves if they like the information in a movie or book and what they're going to do with that once they read it and see it. A cult leader does not want you looking at other stuff, trying to figure things out and see if your leader, what he's saying, is lining up. A cult leader doesn't want you doing any research to see that if what he's saying is true or not, or is it just a theory, or is it some made-up beliefs about, you know, he's this and he's that and we're this and we're that. A cult leader does not want people to look anywhere else other than the cult leader for all their information and guidance and teaching. So in the Israelite community, a lot of us are doing the same thing. We don't want nobody else looking outside the box, looking at any other teachings, looking at any other differences in doctrines, any different types of breakdowns, because they want to focus only on them so that they can keep you in.
Yeah, because they believe that they got the truth. That's why they say that. Now, if somebody goes off, you want to watch this guy, and you go, I'm leaving you, GMS. So say goodbye. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Their little fold, their little rooms that you can keep learning from them, and that's it. And this is the reason why for 20 plus years, the majority of the Israelites that follow these camps and leaders, they believe that Esau is the entire white race. They believe that Gentiles can't be saved. For a long time, they believe that all Africans are Hamites. Now they're starting to change that.
Hold up.
For a long time, the entire white Israelites that follow these plus years, the majority of the Israelites that follow these camps and leaders, they believe that Esau is the entire white race. They believe that Gentiles can't be saved. For a long
They believe, so he believes Gentiles, other nations can be saved. So you really think I'm going to say, oh, you should watch that movie. It's a good movie.
Long time they believe that all Africans are Hamites. Now they're starting to change that tone. And yes, this is what they believe in. They believe that the Chinese and the Asians and Japanese are the Moabites and the Ammonites. And this is the same thing.
So who are the Chinese and the Japanese? This is confusion right here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay.
Thing that I debunked on the YouTube channel with Son of Shemites Lorben's, because we want to do that clearly with facts and proof and sources and scripture, and prove that what they're teaching, Esau's the entire white race, Moab and Ammon are the Chinese, the
original Edomite would be the so-called white man. He looked like a white man. He mixes the seeds. So he got Edomites look like Jake and other nation Chinese and so forth. So he really doesn't know what's going on. This is the same guy that said we're crazy for saying UFOs are going to come deliver us. He's not on our level, but he thinks he's on a higher level. He's not one of the elect as it stands.
Asians. We broke down with facts that this is false. And people seen it and was like, thank you. A lot of Israelites like, thank you, it's about time. It's about time, because we're not kids, we're adults. This is nonsense. Jacob and Esau didn't come out one black, one African, and one white. No. Well, we've been believing that for over 20 years. Nobody's seen the challenge any of the Israelites, and that's the reason why, Sonnetter, that a lot of these camps that teach that Esau is the white races, like GOCCs, your IUICs, your ISUPKs, your GMSs, you know, they're wrong. They're not going to want to debate me.
I don't have to debate. So he mentioned, so he knows about all the major groups. He knows about all the major groups. He said GOCC, your ISUPKs, your GMSs. So he watches us. He knows about us. He knows about the ISUPK, knows about the GOCC, he knows about the IUIC. So he knows about these major groups, and he says all these guys say that Jacob and Esau Jacob came out of the Jake man and Esau came out of white man. That's a fact. All you gotta do is go to Google, put in Esau, or put in Edomites, and go to images. It's gonna be white people, people that look like so-called white people.
You know, they're wrong. They're not going to want to debate me because guess what? We all know at the end of the day, how can you be the leader of a large organization with followers and then some man come along and starts destroying and debunking your teachings with facts? And people nowadays are going to say, man, let me Google this and fact check what he's saying to see if Ron Dalton's right. And then when they do, they're going to say,
the only way you can disprove Esau is if you can go in a time machine, which you can't do, it's humanly impossible. It goes against the laws of science and nature. Go back thousands of years ago, kidnap Esau and bring him back to me and say, here's an Edomite. He black, looking like Manute Bol. That's Esau right there. That's the only way you can prove that. So don't use that word facts. That a fact is something that cannot be disputed. Moab and Ammon. Who are the Moab and Ammon? Well, they're Arabs. And they stay in their land. There's another thing you don't understand. He don't understand, but he did mention, to show you right here, I didn't catch this last night. He mentioned major groups. He mentioned the ISUPK. He's talking about the IUIC. He mentioned the ISUPK. He's mentioned the GOCC. He mentioned the GMS. So when people say, you GMS guys, ain't nobody watching you. He's watching us. Ron Dolton is watching us. And I would approach them a different way if I was to counter him. He's got his way. Nate got a little nervous. You shouldn't have got nervous. What are you going to? This guy's not, although he looks like a wolf, he's not the big bad wolf.
But he's right. He's right. And we were wrong all this time listening to these guys.
You know how we shut down them Kemetic guys? Because they were talking about their god, Isis, Horus, Osiris, Momiris, inside joke. Isis, Horus, Seth, Osiris, Anubis, all these different gods. We say, do you guys believe in those gods? We were setting them up. And if they would say, yes, the gods are up there. So I was going to say, well, okay, if you guys are the people of them gods, why would the God allow the white man to bring you down? And they didn't have no answer for us because they would have to go into the ancient text and say, this man right here, which is the white man, we call him the Louis Clow or whatever. And they're going to take you down for 2,000 years and you're going to come back. They didn't have no prophecy. This guy, Shaka almost said, I can prophesy. I forgot how he said it. He said, tomorrow the sun's going to come up. No, that's not prophesying. That's a well-known fact that the sun goes up, goes down, and comes up. I'm talking about where is the white man mentioned in your so-called Kemetic books? Where does it mention? What's the origins of the so-called white man? Like you got the NOI teaching that the white man was created in a laboratory by a big head scientist named Yakub. But you got simple ass Negroes, zombies, that still follow that shit.
Wait a minute, Ron Dalton has more teachings? Where? H1 TV? I can say, well, let's go this way. You know, and they don't want that.
And this guy, Ron Dalton, is not even following the laws. Let me bring this back. Get a better, I want to get the side view.
When they do, they're going to say, he's right. He's right. And we were wrong all this time listening to these guys. Wait a minute, Ron Dalton has more teachings? Where? H1 TV? I can say, well, let's go.
Hey, wait a minute, look at that. It looks like he got a razor. Give me a second.
Wait a minute, Ron Dalton has more teachings? Where? H1 TV? I can say, well, let's.
You got a good shot. You got to bring it back a couple times. But you can see it looks like he's using a razor on his head. All right? So he doesn't even follow the laws.
You know, and they don't want that.
Does he have a Hebrew name? I mean, why would you be known by Ron Dalton and not your Hebrew name? Do you have a Hebrew name?
So they have to avoid a debate the same way the Jewish rabbis won't debate me The same way the Christian pastors like Eric Mason in the Christian apologetics.
And Eric Mason mentioned GMS. He called us great milestone. No, we're great millstone. So they know, look, all these Christian people, these people that are into the scriptures and so forth, guys like Ron Dolton and other Christians, Eric Mason, they know about the One Westers, okay? They ain't worrying about them people over there in Dimona, Israel. They ain't worrying about them. They're not a spiritual threat.
They won't debate me. Like I tried to debate Billy Carson. I tried to debate Wes Huff. And they're like, no. They're like, no. I emailed Wes Huff after he debated Billy Carson, and people said he won the debate. And I emailed Wes Huff, the Christian apologetics.
Well, Wes Huff did say, I don't deal with them Israelites. I let vocab deal with them.
And they emailed me back, no, he's not interested in debating you. No. I was like, okay, well, he doesn't want to debate. And so a lot of people that are in the Christian community, the Israelite community, the Jewish community, like the top rabbis and the scholars, the Jewish scholars, they're not going to debate me. I can call them all day long. They're not going to debate me. They can say this work, Medic, is based on no research. It's pseudoscience. They can say all this stuff all they want to.
That's what they got to do to keep the lies going.
In the Jerusalem Post, Times of Israel, and all these different magazines. But at the end of the day, none of these Jewish rabbis or Jewish scholars or Christian scholars or Christian apologetics or top Israelite leaders.
Apologists. Give me a second here. Bear me for a minute. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just let this play. I'm gonna be outside the room for a minute.
They're not going to debate on a lot of these key topics that we need to cover. You're muted. Sorry. You're on mute. Stop.
Yeah. Let me ask you, brother. Will you be bringing out any more new films, documentary books, and stuff like that on Black Hebrew Israelites soon?
Yeah. Like I said in the last show we did, the latest 3 movies I did, Hebrews to Negroes 3, Volume 1, 2, and 3, and they're subtitled "Sound the Alarm." And the first one is dealing with the ancient kingdom of the Congo and the ancient Israelites. And the second one is uncovering the true biblical land of Canaan. And
yeah, because he teaches that Israel is in the land of in Africa. The Palestine, Jerusalem is all in Africa. That the current Jerusalem is not supposed to be there. And come on now. They went through the Red Sea. If they were in Egypt and they went through the Red Sea, how are they going to wind up in Africa?
The true Exodus route. And that's in Volume 2. And in Volume 3 is Gog and Magog's army, meaning the descendants of the people that I asked Bishop Nathanyel to give us the whereabouts and identity.
Which originally they're sons of Japhet. Esau pushed them out. The Roman system was set up, what was it, 65 BC? Who was ruling Rome before that? Let's go 100 years, 200 years before that. It was the sons of Japhet, which are the so-called Polynesian Hawaiian type people.
of the descendants of Gomer and Magog and Meshach and Tubal and Togarmah and Persia and Cush and Put, like all that information which Bishop Nathanyel cannot prove or give us the right answer, all of that is in volume 3, and this is all on h2ntv.com. H the number 2 and TV.com. It's just that a lot of the Israelites, they're not willing to go watch and rent these videos to learn something because they have dogmatic thinking. So the dogmatic thinking and the ignorance and the rejection of learning new things and learning knowledge is what plagues our people. We don't want to even look at it because we just are afraid that it may disagree and debunk our doctrine. So I could come out with 10 movies. You know, I could come out with a movie this year, a movie next year, but a lot of the Israelites, they're not going to watch it. They'll watch Sinners and Black Panther and all this other stuff, but they're not going to watch a Hebrew Israelite movie that they can learn something from and potentially change their teaching and their doctrine. They ain't going to do that.
All right, brother. Are you up for questions or what, brother? You would like some questions or no? It's up to you. All right, family, come on in, respect my guests, and y'all can ask questions, but you must turn on your cameras.
I don't run like Bishop Nathanyel was running, and they quickly said, "Okay, Ryan, we got to put you back. We got to take you out of here now," because Bishop started getting nervous. He started like calling me names and saying all this stuff. So the Nano realized that it was not going in the direction that he thought it was going to be, like just a question answer, and just answer the question. That's it, Bishop.
Right. There you go. So y'all can come on in and ask your question. We got Apostle in the building. Apostle, you up first, my brother. Do you have a question for the brother?
Hold on, I'm trying to get my mic situated.
Okay, let me move on over to Rock Hufu.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I'm having a problem, technical difficulty. Let them go first, huh?
Man, all of y'all going crazy. All right, let me get on over to my man Asar and Ka. What up, Asar?
You know I ain't having no difficulty. No. What's up, brother Ron Dalton? We appreciate your work, of course. I'm sure the Hebrews is loving it, absolutely. So salute to you for creating movies, and I love to see a black creator. But now I got to tear you down a little bit. Just a little bit, because I know I'm coming for you, brother. So the Hebrew tradition is outside of Africa, is where it starts. How are you connecting the Bantu people to the Hebrew tradition?
Okay, so the birth of the
Bantu people spoke Hebrew. There's videos on that. Matter of fact, let me do something. The Israelites, the kingdom of Judah came from West Africa for the most part. The slave trade, fulfillment of scripture, prophecy. Let me do this. Let me do this right here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me see what comes up. This is like a little experimentation type thing. Is the original language of the Bantu people Hebrew? Okay, this Bantu language is distinct from, okay, maybe it's from the Benin language of the, because I found information on it years ago. Okay, the root language of the Bantu dialect is the Igbo language of Nigeria, which the Bantu people are the same people as Nigerian, which is a different region, is least affected by foreign influence among Bantu dialects is the Bantu language Hebrew. Bantu is the true etymological origins of Hebrew language. In addition to the Strong's exhaustive concordance, the author uses a variety of credible sources, some even dating back to the 19th century. The author's research ultimately reveals that Bantu is the true etymology origin of Hebrew language. Who are the Bantu people in the Bible? Let's see what it says. Bantu people. Okay, wait a minute. The Bantu tribes of Africa are ancient Hebrew Israelites located in sub-Africa or sub-Saharan Africa, and their related families through their similar languages, which is Hebrew, and their most ancient biblical customs. Let me read that again. Who are the Bantu people in the Bible? The Bantu tribes of Africans are ancient Hebrew Israelites. So why did it say this? Why did the AI say this? Now I remember years ago I looked this up and they say yes, the origins go back to you know what I'm gonna do? Let me try this. The original language of the. Let me do this. Let me take out the word Bantu. Let me go to Nigeria. Let me do this. Let's do this. Hebrew is not the original language of the Nigerian people, while some Igbo communities in Nigeria have adopted Jewish practices and identify as Jewish or Jews. Their language, Igbo, is part of the Nigerian Congo language family and has no Semitic roots. See, you're getting mixed signals here. The Hausa language, however, is a Semitic language with connection to Africa-Asian languages. Ooh, what is that? Am I saying this right? The Hausa language. The Hausa language let's see what happens. The Hausa language, Hebrew. Let's see what it says. Give me a second. Give me a second. Got an important call. It wasn't that bad in the beginning because they would do it. I would turn it off, and it was doing that for the longest. So me for a minute, y'all. That was my mechanic. He happens to be an Edomite. Oh, he looks like Edom. He could be Jake. He could be Jake. I believe he's Polish, but he does real good work, you know. And so he's calling me to say my car is ready. But anyway, some years ago, I put this in, and they said the Bantu, the language, the original languages, or it's based upon Semitic languages. It says right here, distance. Well, there are similarities between Chadic and Semitic languages due to their shared ancestry within the Afro-Asiatic family. And when you look up the word Sem and Semitic, let me do this. Who are the Semitic people today? Semitic people is a term of an ethnic, cultural, or racial group associated with people of the Middle East, including Arabs, Jews, Akkadians, which are similar to Arabs, and Phoenicians, which are Canaanites. Phoenicians is a Greek way of saying Canaan. Arabs. So when you say anti-Semp, if a small hat comes against an Arab, you can call him anti-Semp. It says this terminology is now largely unused outside the grouping Semitic languages in linguistics. And when you go deep into this, it said the word Africa. Let me see. Who are the Semitic people? But you can see that it's not talking about the small hats. Okay, who are considered Semitic people? Let's see what that says. The term Semitic people traditionally referred to groups descending from Shem, one of Noah's sons, based upon the biblical table of nations. This was often linked to the Semitic language families, including languages like Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic. So Arab people would be Semitic as well. However, the term is now largely considered outdated and inaccurate in racial or ethnic context, as it primarily reflects linguistic connections rather than a shared ethnicity who belong to the Semitic race. The Semites appeared as a subgroup of Caucasians, which the Caucasians are Semitic people. The small hats are Semitic people. The Arabs were part of Semites and included southern and northern peoples, the peoples of Himyar and Ethiopia. Oh, so Ethiopians are Semitic too, which they're really not. Other Semites were the Assyrians, which could be like Arabs, Aramaic speaking people, the Canaanites, which are Africans. We took their land, and their languages were quite close to one another. So these Europeans can't take the claim on them, put the claim on themselves that they're the people. It clearly says it. When you go to Semitic, it'll say Arab, Akkadian, which will look like Arabs, Canaanites, Phoenicians, which are Canaanites. When we took over the Canaanites, they were speaking English. That's why we were able to talk. Remember the two that escaped and lied to Joshua? They spoke Hebrew. It was a regional language. So let's come back over here. I'm making this long. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I want to get into the Q&A. And this is nothing but confusion. You know what Ephesians 4 says, 11 on down. It said like children, carried away by every wind of doctrine. He just has another doctrine. I give him credit. He knows he's an Israelite. But you watch his movies, you're going to get confused.
Nation of the Israelites started where? Like the birth.
Why would I deliberately want somebody, if somebody asks me directions to someplace, I'm not going to give them, I can go from point A to point B. I can take 4 different routes. I can take 5 different routes. If somebody says, how do I get from point A to point B, I'm going to give them the best route. I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to give you all the routes. Because you know what that's going to do? That's going to confuse him. There's some routes that are different. So if we tell people to go watch him, that's telling them this go to this direction, but this is a different route, but you're going to run into problems with this route. So I wouldn't tell nobody, I wouldn't recommend a brother or a sister to watch any of his videos. I can watch him. I watched this video. I watched some of his work. Okay? This was long before the Kyrie incident. I knew about Dolton. He came on the scene in, I believe it was 2011. We had already been on the scene, bro. We've been on YouTube since 2007. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 years before you came on the scene. And IUIC and GOCC was on the air. And I believe HOI was on there too. But they were on there a year before us. That was in 06. YouTube came on the scene in 2005. And the Spirit kept, should I go on YouTube? Should not go? Because we were going to go on YouTube about 2006. And the Spirit had me delay it. And I said, I think it was the last week of July 2007, we did our verse video. And it was it was right across the street from Madison Square Garden, which is not 34th, but 33rd. 33rd and 7th.
Of a nation. So let's say this. I got 10 kids. Is that a nation?
It's a football.
It's a family. A bigger family becomes a tribe. An even bigger family becomes a nation. Israel, Jacob had sons, which became the 12 tribes. That was a family. When the sons broke off and had children, that became tribes, right? Same thing with Ishmael. What is that? Genesis 17, the 12 princes that came out of Ishmael, well, those are 12 tribes. Among the Canaanites, you had the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, which are tribes of the Canaanites. So those are tribes, so bigger tribes become what? Nations. Even the tribes of Israel, each individual tribe is considered a nation. Let me prove that. Prove all things. I'm not going to go to NLT. I'm going to go to KJV. And so let me go to, I believe that's Genesis, Barashit, Barashias, they say, the small heads say Barashit, which means in the headings. 48. Genesis 48. I'm going to show you that each tribe is also considered a nation. Okay, wow, nation. Nations is right there. See how the Spirit works? Okay, let me see. 19, right? Let me start from 18. And Joseph said unto his father, not so. Because remember, Jacob put his hand, he put his what is it? Let me I got to go up here. He was to bless Ephraim and Manasseh. Manasseh was the older boy, but Jacob put his hand, his right hand, I believe it was. Give me a second. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim. Yep, because the right hand represents the power hand. So he said, this is your firstborn, which he wasn't. But he got the blessing that he was the firstborn for a reason. It displeased him. It displeased Joseph. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head, because he was the oldest. And Joseph said unto his father, not this is a spiritual thing. Who guided the hands of Jacob? Yahweh, the Most High. Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. But thy right hand, put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. Also, he also shall become a people. Manasseh shall become they known for boxers. They box your ass off. And he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother, Ephraim, shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multiple of nations. So that's even deeper than a nation. So even a tribe of Israel can be a multitude of nations. So how about that?
It can start one, yeah.
So
let's see what this Q&A is all about. I went long. I'm long-winded. Y'all know me. Please forgive me. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning something.
When the Israelites went into Egypt to be with Joseph, they were the 12 tribes. But then when they left, after hundreds of years, they left like 1 million strong. That's a nation. But they
doesn't say 1 million. Scholars say it was 5,600,000. You're just throwing that out there. So you got to qualify. You got to say it could have been 1 million people. It could have been 1 billion people. It could have been, it was more than 10 people. More than 84 people. The original Israelites that went in there was no more than 90 people, because Joseph was already there.
Left Egypt as a nation in Africa. So the Hebrew traditions and customs, even when they were given the Torah and the laws by God, this all happened in Africa. This is what I teach. Like, I know people believe that modern day Israel is the Holy Land, but I don't teach that, because the Bantu people and all the evidence that I have researched being here in Africa has proven that when the Israelites left Egypt, they went south. So they stayed in Africa. So the Hebrew traditions and customs and the nation of Israel was birthed out of Africa.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know where you got that from. They went through the Red Sea. Let me do this. I don't gotta go all into this. Egypt, the Red Sea is east of Egypt, or east of Goshen, and they didn't even actually go to. I don't know if he knows that. They didn't even go to the Red Sea. They went through one of the gulfs of the Red Sea, which happened to be the Gulf of Suez. And between the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Aqaba is the wilderness. North of the wilderness, for 40 years, you had Edom, the Edomites, the Moabites, and the Ammonites. And we had to go through those lands to get to the promised land. So I don't know, I don't know where he gets that from. So that's confusion right there. Why would I tell somebody what? I can watch his videos all day. I'm not going to get confused. Now, somebody that's not, having his senses exercised, they'll get caught all up in this thing, man.
Let me, you mind if I share my screen real quick, Sal? We can't hear you on.
You got to ask the brother Ron. This is his show.
Big Ron, you mind if I share my screen? This is going to help some of the things that our Hebrews do, right? Because a lot of our Hebrews make the claim. But let me show you something real quick, because none of them ever use this, and I don't know why. Would you agree that the Hikakasu are the beginnings of the Hebrew tradition?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, just to go with this man is saying, I did a video. I don't even know if I can find that video. I did that video, back in 2009, maybe 2008. It was on the Hyksos being Israelites. Yes, I believe that the Hyksos which was a name that the so-called Egyptians gave to the Israelites, the shepherd kings, they called them. The Hyksos are the Israelites. So this gentleman just said, well, Hebrews and identity. No, I know that. I believe that the Hyksos are Israelites.
No,
Here's
I
one of your
I don't teach that.
Here's one of the Hikakasut here. You can see Yehudia, but his name is Min. His Egyptian name is Min. Now he looks Asian and black. He looked like Heinz Ward. He even got the Steeler colors behind him. This is his coffin. And we know it's him, of course, because his name is all over it, right? DF giving, and then he's getting these things up head, he's getting duck and all this. But in Ka in men, right? So for spirit of men. And this is him on his coffin. He's a Hikakasut. He would be black and Asiatic, obviously, from his face. He looked like Heinz Ward. So
let me look up Hans Ward. Sounds like a character from the Star Wars series. Do you play for the NBA? Hans Ward. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Let me see something. Okay, Heinz Edward Ward is an American football coach and former player who Arizona State. Okay, let me see something. Boy, give me a second. I want to get the origins of this guy's. Hans, is it Heinz Ward? Heinz Ward. Heinz Ward. Okay. Okay, I don't know if he's a Jake. Maybe his mother's Japanese or Chinese. Bear me for a minute, y'all. Heinz Ward, let me do this. Bear me for a minute. Okay, let me see how he played. Blah, 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 blah. Ward. Okay. Now we're cooking with grease. Now we're cooking with coconut oil. Born in Seoul, South Korea, to a Korean mother and African American father. This is why he had that, what we call gookish look. And gook is Korean for people, folks. You could say he's you Moabite, you Thailand people. He's a Jake, and this probably happened. I don't know the whole thing, but his father probably was in the Korean conflict. He had relations with where is it? Where the hell is it? Okay, Ward was born in Seoul, South Korea, to a Korean mother, Kim Young-hee, and an African-American father, Heinz Ward Sr. In March 1976, his family moved to Atlanta and East Point when Heinz Jr. was a year old, and Heinz Sr. went to West Germany to serve. Okay, he was an army brat. So he met a Korean woman, popped her, and this is what came out. By the way, he's not half-breed. He's 100% Israelite. But his what do you call it? Phenotype is that of a dark Asian person. Because you're going to have Israelites that look just like that. Speckled bird. Okay? So now let's come on back. Give me a second. Just getting my bearings straight.
Other than this and Paheka Amen, who his real name is Ben Yah, but he chose to stay with his Egyptian name when he passed away. So he'd rather go in the servant of Amen, Paheka Amen.
See, this is all extra biblical stuff. We'll never teach you all. We'll never go into one key character, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But he made a statement. He said that Hebrews are not, in not too many words, Hebrews are not really into. No, I did a video back in, I believe it was 2009. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me go see if I can find it. I'll see if I can pick it up. If it's still up there, I'll pick it up. I don't even know how to go on that page no more. Okay, let me go here. I'll let you listen to a little bit more, and then I'm gonna close. Cause I'm long-winded, I guess. Okay, let me see here. Let me do this. Are the Hyksos Israelites? Are the Hyksos Israelites? Okay, let me see if my video is still up there. They probably took that page down. That was back in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is was his brother Zion Lex. Oh, you got a lot of let me do it this way. The Hyksos, let me do it this way. Okay, cut. Let me try it this way. If they didn't take down that YouTube page, bear me for a minute, y'all. Hold tight with me. There's a lot of information on the Hyksos, man. Hyksos, Byzantine, Byzantine. Wow, a lot of videos on Hyksos. You watch all these videos, you'll be an expert on the Hyksos. The Hyksos weren't Israelites. Yeah, they had to have taken this thing down. Bear me for a couple more minutes, about another minute. They took the video down. They took the page down. Or did they? A lot of information on the Hyksos. I had the Egyptian music in the background playing. Wow. Wow. Yeah, they took it down. They took that YouTube page was lame. I forget the name of the YouTube page. Yeah, they took it down. Anyway, let's listen to a little bit more. I'm going long. Please forgive me. Bear with me.
Who would you have to show in ancient Hebrew times that would be black?
Well, we have to remember that using critical thinking and logic, that we can see that the bones that they found in ancient Egypt, there were different ethnic groups because they have different DNA haplogroups.
And I don't go into DNA and haplogroups, E1, B1A, and all that. I did do a little research on it, Google wise, but I'm not going all into this. This is a spiritual thing. I'm not an archaeologist. So you know what? I'm gonna land this plane right about now. But anyway, he did mention a bunch of One Westers. He mentioned GOCC. He mentioned the main group he's talking about, the IUIC. He did mention GMS, and he mentioned ISUBK, which are major former One West groups. So anyway, with that, I'm out of here. On to the next. Forgive me for going long, but I hope you learned something. I hope you took notes. Shalom. On to the next.